Good evening, everyone. Great to be here with you tonight. So let's talk about attention. Where is your attention right now? That was the right answer. No, but it's a serious question. Where is your attention? And don't be surprised if it actually wasn't with me. So we live in an increasingly chaotic world. We're asked to deal with volumes of information very different to what our parents or our grandparents ever had to deal with. We're bombarded with technology every second of the day, and that has an impact on us. And for many of us, we actually end up living in a state of what I like to call continuous partial attention. So have you ever been having a conversation with your child, your partner, and realised halfway through you haven't got a clue what they said? Yeah?
All the time.
All the time, exactly. Have you ever been having a conversation with a colleague at work and you're so keen to get on to the next item on your to-do list, you're rushing the conversation? Do you ever find yourself mindlessly scrolling through your social media pages? I'm sure none of you here would do anything like that, but for some people this is also an issue. Yeah? So what are the consequences? Does any of that actually matter? Well, yes, it matters very much. So when we're not really paying attention, the consequence of that is that we're not connected. We're not connected to ourselves, and we are not connected to each other. So this can also start to cause lots of stress for us as well. So continuous partial attention, lack of focus, and we can start to feel very, very overwhelmed. Have you ever felt like that? I know I have. So our attention is scattered, our brains feel scattered, and life starts to feel quite overwhelming. So the consequences of not paying attention and not being connected are many. Some of them to us personally, to our relationships, and also very much so in the workplace as well. So you're an employee at work and your attention is scattered and you find it difficult to concentrate. So you leave work having not focused on your priorities. And how does that feel? It feels awful. You feel anxious, you feel unfulfilled. You're worrying about the next day. You're a leader at work, responsible for getting the most out of people. And again, you're suffering from that same continuous partial attention. So as a leader, are you really able to connect with the people that you're leading, to pick up on the things you should be picking up on? Are you able to make the right choices in the midst of chaos? And I think many people feel they're not nowadays. It's a very, very worrying world that we're living in. And again, all of this is building stress, building stress. So the WHO have said that stress is the epidemic of the health epidemic of the 21st century. In the US alone, over $300 billion are lost in stress-related costs. That's absolutely phenomenal. And those are only the costs that they actually think they can measure. In a recent study in the workplace, over 50% of people said that actually they spent their days not even aware of what they were doing. They were just running on autopilot. That's terrifying. Well, it should be to an employer at least. In the same study, only 31% of people, I love this, said that they were able to focus in meetings. Now, imagine if everyone who actually went to a meeting was really present in the meeting, was really focusing on what they were being asked to focus on, listening to each other. When was the last time you really listened to someone and gave them your full attention? And a recent study in the UAE actually has said that most employees reported feeling, or over 50% reported feeling stressed or very stressed every day. So this is worldwide, this epidemic that we're facing. So, two quite interesting things have happened. The business world started to look for different solutions to this problem. How can we make sure that we're performing, that we're increasing productivity, that we're reducing stress? And at the same time, the scientific community started to put a lot of money and time into understanding the benefits of mindfulness practices. Yeah? Some of the studies were conducted in the workplace, some outside of the workplace. And if you were to Google the subject mindfulness now, there would be so many different things that you would find, yeah? So, who here has heard of mindfulness? Some of you? Yeah? Okay. So, if you haven't heard of it, I'm going to tell you what it means anyway, but you're going to hear more and more about it. So let's look at a little definition. So, mindfulness is paying attention in a particular way, on purpose, in the moment. Yeah? What are mindfulness practices? Now, there are many different mindfulness practices, and let's just look at two of them. So, mindful meditation. In mindful meditation, we're paying attention to our breath and our minds. Yoga, or physical yoga, as you might traditionally know it, somebody on a yoga mat moving their body and their breath. The object of attention is the body and the breath. These are both mindfulness practices because what these practices are enabling us to do is to build our ability to focus and to pay attention, and therefore to stay connected. Yeah? So you might think yoga is about lengthening your hamstrings, or maybe it does do that, but actually, who cares? This is far more important. So, a little bit more about mindfulness. So, in relation to what it does to our brain, so the word neuroplasticity, what we're really referring to here is the brain's ability to build neural pathways by continually practicing something. Yeah, it's a bit like lose it if we don't use it. So, for instance, a juggler juggles and then builds the neural pathways to be able to build that skill to be able to do it really well. And the same can be said of mindfulness practices. So the more we practice, whether it's physical yoga, whether it's focusing on the breath, any practice that can help to build our attention, it builds the neural pathways in the brain. And lots of the research that's being done now using powerful MRI scanners is showing just how impactful that can be. So when we look at meditators' brains, they're growing parts of the brain that enable them to focus. That's pretty amazing, yeah? So some of the other benefits. So it can help us to build focus and memory. It actually boosts our immune system, which is hugely exciting. It can help us to be more creative. It can help us to build emotional resilience and intelligence. Again, we're connected. We're empathizing with people around us, and we're able to make more skillful choices because we're paying attention. And it can also build compassion. And the studies are showing that it reduces stress, anxiety, sleep disorders, depression, pain, etc., etc. So the science that's been done is really exciting, and if it's a subject that you think you're interested in, then there's so much that you can find out about it now. Just another workplace example here. So a mindfulness program was done in a large insurance company over 8 weeks. And the results of this were quite astounding in terms of how people saw their ability to focus in the workplace. So 88% highly increased ability to stay more focused. 76% increased positive relationships with their teams. Who doesn't want that? 68% reporting highly increased productivity, and then another large number reporting a decrease in stress as well. So, who here has got time to go on retreat or to travel to an exciting foreign land to learn these practices? Some of you may have, if you're lucky. In fact, who here actually has got the time to go to a studio before work or after work to learn these practices? It can be a real challenge. Well, the good news is that you don't have to. And so many employers are now starting to use these practices in their workplaces to help the well-being of their employees and obviously also to help productivity and performance. So we don't need to leave anywhere. Some really exciting research recently as well is beginning to show us that even small amounts of mindfulness practices, even 5 to 10 minutes a day, as long as the practice is consistent, it starts to deliver these benefits, which I think is really, really exciting. So, what do we need if we're going to teach in the workplace? So, all you need is you and a chair. Simple as that. So now we're going to do an exercise. I have you have chairs. So, This is called the breathing space exercise. This is a foundational technique that can help to build your attention. When you're first starting a practice, short periods of practice are better than long periods. Put your reminder in your calendar. Do this twice a day. Yeah? Okay, so we use a chair to meditate because we want the spine to be alert but relaxed at the same time. So just sitting comfortably in your chair. So just bring your gaze down towards the floor. Just relaxing your arms in your lap. If you want to shut your eyes, you can. Otherwise, just keeping them open, but just focusing downwards. So just becoming aware of the weight of your body in the chair. And now simply bring your attention to your breath. I don't want you to change your breath, just noticing the natural inhale and the natural exhale. Maybe even visualizing the area of the body that you feel the breath most. Maybe the nose, maybe the chest, maybe the belly. And each time that you notice your mind has wandered, and it will, gently bring your attention back to the breath. Each time that you notice your mind has wandered, you're building your ability to focus and to pay attention. You're building the neural pathways in your brain to allow you to be more focused. And now, just very gently, bring your awareness back into the room, back to your chair, and if the eyes were closed or the gaze was down, just lifting the eyes again. Thank you for your attention. Good night.